Hello and salutations. Welcome back to Gaming While Healing. We've been playing a game called Flower, where it's just about a flower that is pretty much bringing back life into a world that is sorrowful, chaotic. It's a favorite game of mine because it gives you a time to just relax. It has no action, it has no, drama to it. It's just life. We've gone through a lot. I explained the whole purpose of this podcast. I explained a little bit about myself, and we learned a little bit about you. For those of you who watched that episode about you would understand what I'm referring to. And then we took a little break. But then we came across a part in that moment where we have to come back to that reality. So let's go ahead and see what happens next. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Here we go. All right. Now, in life, as I said in the previous episode, we try to find our moments to escape from reality, to try and find peace within ourselves, even if it's just for a moment. It's grand, it's beautiful, but sometimes we get that wake-up call from reality telling us that we have to come back and face the harshness. For some, it's not so bad, because they get through it. For others, they wish for things that can be harmful, not only to themselves, but to others. And that's the thing about the harshness of this world. Sometimes there are people that tell you that you have to be mean, you have to be a brute to withstand the sting and the bite of this world. For me, I believe there's a balance. You don't have to be a bully. You don't have to be mean. And you don't have to be a pushover either. you can still be a good person without having to bite people's heads off, per se. You can still be a good person without having to be mean. Now, in this level, you have to be very careful because these are live wires. It's electricity. And as an entity using flowers to float in space, you have to be careful not to disturb or cause any friction in there. When you think about it, it's kind of like people. Sometimes just being nice can be bitter to some. Sometimes simply saying hello, you get people that want to snap at you, asking you what's so good about it, because they're having a bad day. Sometimes when you get too close to people, you get attacked. Just like that. And you get burned along the way. Same thing goes for relationships. You come across somebody that you feel that you need to save them. So you can feel like you're the hero. And in time it works. In time it helps. But oftentimes in return, you are also hurting when they hurt. Because like I said, hurt people hurt people. And when you end up getting hurt, and when they end up getting hurt, they oftentimes tend to hurt you, especially if you're happy. because they don't want to see you happy while they are miserable. So you end up walking on eggshells, being careful not to get stung. Especially if it's someone that you love. Unfortunately, in life, there are toxic people. Whether it's friends, family, lovers, and co-workers. I've had my fair share. Growing up, my family was raised different than most. We spoke proper. So in school, because people of color, I didn't talk Ebonics, I didn't talk slang. They found it odd that how can I be African American if I'm not acting like them? And I never understood that. Unfortunately, I was isolated in that sense because I didn't speak their language. I didn't act the way they acted. Heck, in the military, I was often called names because of my demeanor to how I approached people that were not of color. And so it isolated me even more because it made me feel that I didn't belong anywhere. But the good thing is there were people that saw me despite who I was that continues to make life worthwhile. As a child of God, I am very grateful because through those moments, through those trying times of trying to find my place in the world, God made it where I didn't have to try and fit in with everybody else. It allowed me to be able to discover who I am, who I'm meant to be, and to grow in love. Because when you have God in your life, nothing will stand in your way. Then all negativity will fall. And the important thing is to get through life, it is to survive the harshness of this world, trying to hold on to the positiveness, the beauty of this world, and fighting back from those who want to show you otherwise. Because there is beauty in this world. There can be, if you allow it. In one of these videos, I mentioned how I got injured. That injury left some nerve damage to my lower half. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I just figured that it was lower back pain, only to discover that it was a rare disease called Tarlov cyst. It was 2012 that I was diagnosed with it, but I went on living my life, thinking nothing of it. In 2016, that's when I felt the harshness of that disease. Because it felt like I was being stabbed in the back. And I would end up being in bed for majority of the day. And especially after work, because at that time I was working as a secretary in a hospital. And when I get off of work, I would cry. Sometimes I would scream. Because when my body was trying to relax, I had to endure so much pain. Back in 2016, 2017, because it's a rare disease. And because of its rarity, doctors heard of it, but not a lot of doctors studied it. Not a lot of doctors want to believe it. Some still don't. So I found alternative methods to seek healing within myself, which again started with me trying to understand my body. But I was trying to prove to doctors that what I was dealing with existed, but because the doctors were not skilled in that, didn't want to touch it, didn't want to do anything. And so, again, I felt like no one heard me. And I would be in bed crying. I would be in bed just doing whatever I can, whether it's Tylenol, whether it is ice or heat, to just try and relieve the pain, because it just wouldn't go away. I didn't think that I could escape from it, because it just, everywhere I turned, it was there. Everywhere I turned, it reminded me that I could not, that this was my life, that this was what I was going to be dealing with for the rest of my life, and it scared me. It scared me so much, because I thought that I wouldn't be able to walk again. I wouldn't be able to, live a normal life. But God. That's all I could say is, but through the grace of God. I saw a light through that tunnel. Through people, God guided me to things that I can do. Because I remember there was a doctor that actually told me that sometimes you have to be your own advocate. Which, to me, I took it as I have to learn to fight my battles, learn to push through. Because again, I felt that I was alone in this world, that no one understood what I was going through. And I'm sure that there are people out there that feel that way. It may not be through physical ailments. It can be through emotional ailments. But the fact is, be your own advocate. Push through, because if you don't, then you're going to allow the world to attack you. You're going to allow the world to try and tear you down when you are trying to stay afloat. They're going to find ways to attack you, to take away your joy, when all you want to do is just live. But you can do it. Whether you are a believer in Christ, whether you believe just you and you alone, you can push through. This one wasn't so bad, I hope not. But I hope that this was something that you learned from, something that, if it resonates with you, push through. Fight. Don't let it eat you. Because it can remind you. The world can do that. People can do that. Toxic people can do that. Because again, hurt people hurt people. Don't let them hurt you. Again, if you enjoy this podcast, I ask that you click on the like button. I ask that you subscribe. Be happy, be healthy, be healed. This is Naisha, and this was Gaming While Healing.